In this mid-19th century case, Mr. Reed was a paper stainer in London, but not a very commercially successful one. Paper stainers, as the name suggests, produced paper which was coloured. It was usually used as wallpaper. Unfortunately for Mr. Reed, he got behind on his rent, and the landlord, Mr. Coker, sent in a debt collector who took possession of the mills and lathes used for the paper staining. The debt collector then loaned Mr. Reed the money to pay off his debts, but he quickly fell into arrears again. To sort the whole mess out, Mr. Reed and Mr. Coker, the landlord, decided to go into business together. However, they didn't really set out the terms of that business. As far as Mr. Coker was concerned, he now owned all the equipment, and he was letting Mr. Reed operate it in return for a fee. As far as Mr. Reed was concerned, it was still completely a joint venture, and they were partners in the ownership of the equipment. Unfortunately, business went from bad to worse, and before you know it, the firm was in trouble again. This time, Mr. Coker sent in some of his other employees. They surrounded Mr. Reed. The case report records it like this. The workmen mustered round the plaintiff, tucking up their sleeves and aprons, and threatened to break his neck if he did not go out. And, fearing that the men would strike him if he did not do so, the plaintiff went out. The question before the court was whether this was an assault. After all, nobody actually touched Mr. Reed. They just loomed over him menacingly. The court, however, confirmed that the essence of assault is not any physical touching, it's an imminent threat to cause harm, coupled with the capacity to do so. Chief Justice Jarvis said, "If anything short of actual striking will in law constitute an assault, the facts here clearly showed that the defendant was guilty of an assault. There was a threat of violence, exhibiting an intention to assault, and a present ability to carry the threat into execution." This case confirmed that even without any physical touching at all, an assault had been committed.